back to our show. Hello, everyone. Welcome. It's so nice to see you all. Hello, Brother Bill, Reckless Mage. Hello, the Retro Runner is here. What? Hello? Oh my gosh, it's so nice to see you. Thank you for coming in and saying hi. Hi, Gohan. Welcome. Nice to see you. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Usually I don't broadcast on a Wednesday, but when we do the Awesome Streamer Hour, that is reason enough to go live, on the off days, because I get to have conversations with really incredible people. And today is no different. Hi, Alley Cat. Welcome. And of course, you all see I'm wearing my Mets hat today, for very good reason. You'll see in a few seconds. But we're going to be talking to an incredible, talented, amazing speed runner who always, whenever they come to hang out with me, always has great conversations about food and great places to go to in New York, among many other things. When you go to hang out on their channel, it's always a chill, awesome vibe. They work hard at getting those PBs and doing their best in speedrunning. So without further ado, hi J-Rock, welcome. Without further ado, let's talk to MoneyMerks. Hello, how you doing today? Welcome.
Hello, howdy.
Hi. You love the Mets? Well, I had to wear my Mets hat because when we were setting up today, MoneyMerks had the Yankee hat on, and I was like, okay, I have to get my hat and wear it. Because New York, we got to represent both the teams.
I was going to say, you got to represent.
Yeah. So welcome. How was your day? What'd you do today?
I actually got fresh for this.
Oh.
I had to go get a cut, very tri-state. I'm North Jersey, which is right outside New York City.
Yeah.
But, had to clean it up, had to get the fresh Yankee out, got the fresh Carhartt. Very, very, very New York, New Jersey-ish right now. So
listen, I am honored that you brought out like the fresh fitted, the Carhartt, everything. Yo, let me find out. You probably got the Timbs on too.
No Timbs.
No Timbs. I don't even own a pair of Timbs myself. I'm a fake New Yorker. Oh my gosh.
I got Timbs, but I haven't worn them in a while.
Yeah. Retro Runner says they have Timbs. Ash is from Staten Island. Now, you better stop right there. All right, listen. Okay.
My man, Retro Runner.
All right. So thank you so much for taking the time to come onto the show today. I'm so excited to talk to you about all the things that we were talking about. So let's get into it. First of all, let's talk about some of the best places to go out and eat in New York City, because we always talk about that.
I'm always sending you pictures, just tormenting you. So that's like part of our friendship. I don't. Did I send you the dirty water dogs today or no?
I don't think you did, but okay, I need to see them.
I will send you those.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I did pick up some hot dogs in passing today, which I'd never get to that spot, but I send you pictures of beef patties, empanadas.
Oh my God.
I send you all kinds of, things. And then, I was asking you like a week ago, I said, oh, did you ever try Grace Papaya? I remember we were chatting about that a little bit.
Heck yeah, and I have. But let me pause real quick to acknowledge the incredible raid that we just got from Rose Colored Chaos, who is a super amazing and talented broadcaster. I know who also loves retro games. Rose, what? Sorry, it's me, Arm. Hello, welcome everybody. Thank you so much for coming in and saying hi. I hope you had a really good broadcast. Today is our podcast stream that we do called the Awesome Streamer Hour. And the guest that we are talking to today is MoneyMerks, who is also a big retro fan, who plays Zelda does speed running, is totally a big fan of the Sega Master System, which is how we first bonded, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
I was like I said, I was trying to figure that out today. I don't know what mutual friend like we found on Twitter, but we were talking about Sega Master System. I don't think either of us knew anything about each other, and I was like, oh, she likes Sega Master System, and I was like, that person is awesome. So
yeah,
we just kind of bonded over that.
yeah, it's totally true. Like, I remember we were talking on Twitter. I definitely think, oh, maybe, did it have something to do with the map of Zillion that I posted? Do you think it has something to do with that?
I don't even remember, to be honest. It was over a year ago. It was a while ago.
But I definitely know Zillion had something to do with it, because honestly, out of all the people on Twitch, you know, there are very few people that I know that know Zillion. So
I beat 1 and 2 as a kid. I haven't played them in a while, but
yeah,
I mean, most people don't even know those games, let alone other great Master System is just super slept on. I mean, it really is.
I
don't
agree.
play it. I don't play it enough. You do. I don't play it enough.
I definitely agree. I feel like in the retro category, I would love to see more people getting into like either speed running Sega Master System or just playing it in general. One of my favorite aspects of the Sega Master System is like how bright and beautiful the color palette is, and just how like unique some of the games are.
That system is so powerful, like, and it just got overlooked because Nintendo games were so good. And I mean, and Nintendo was so popular then, so it's like it just kind of got swept under the rug. And it's like if you knew about it, you knew about it, and if you didn't, like, I think you kind of discovered it more as an adult, right?
Well, so okay, I had the Master System growing up, but
you did.
Okay. I did, but it was always at my dad's house. He really had access to it most of the time. But I do have core memories of playing Zillion and playing Zillion with him and my mom playing like stuff like what the heck is it called? The asteroid shooter, Zaxxon, definitely Zaxxon, because the 3D glasses. We have the glasses peripheral.
I never had those. Yeah, I never had that.
They're pretty fresh, although mine are kind of fragile, although they've been in the box for most of the time that I've had them. But the wires, I get worried that the wires are just gonna like fall apart on me, so I'm very careful with them. But yeah, like I feel like you're right. Like Sega Master System is totally slept on. So would you ever get into like speed running or playing more Sega Master System games on your channel?
I mean, I've played very, like, when I first started streaming again, which is probably a little over a year ago now.
Yeah.
I dabbled with playing Master System a little bit, but I was so heavy into playing and learning Zelda 2 speedrun.
Yeah.
That it just like overtook anything and everything. Like once in a while, I would do like something special, like somebody would make me play like a bad Nintendo game or something like that. But it was just so set up, and like I think a lot of my audience like kind of like knows me as like a Zelda person now.
Gotcha.
So I don't like want to put myself completely in that box, but it's like weird too. So let me at least delve a little bit into like when I started streaming.
Yeah, tell us about you how you started streaming, where the name MoneyMerks comes from, what you do on Twitch.
I used to be this is like 15, 20 years ago on Xbox. I was Money Cat Mid.
Okay.
And that's a Nike shoe.
Oh.
I'm a sneakerhead. I mean, I don't do it as hard as I used to, but I have a nice collection, had crazy shoes in my life.
Gotcha.
So that was my Xbox tag, and then it evolved eventually to MoneyMerks. It went from Money Cat Mid to MoneyMerks.
Got you.
Over years.
Yeah.
So that was my Twitch name. But when I first started streaming, it was crazy because probably about a year ago, I said, I should probably do a 5-year anniversary stream just because I probably have streamed for 5 years.
Okay.
And I went and looked it up, and I was like 6-7 years deep into streaming. And
what?
I was like, wow. Yeah. So I'll tell you the backstory to that. when I first started, I played Destiny 2. I was a big Destiny 2 like streamer,
Mm.
and Destiny was a very dead game then. So my stream picked up a lot of steam from like the bigger Destiny people at that time.
Yeah.
And I mean, I have a sword in like the biggest Destiny 2 guys stream, Destiny 1 guy. Like I just met all these people, and like I practically had partner. Like my stream was like popping back then.
Yeah.
But here's a caveat. So you need Destiny is like, playing, it's like an MMO basically. I mean, it's
Okay.
a looter shooter, but it's almost an MMO. So
Okay.
you need people to play with.
Yeah.
At that time I was playing with just a lot of like little kids that were very childish and
Yeah.
good players, but these are like 14 and 16-year-old kids, and they're just saying and doing reckless things.
Okay.
So between that and financial things and like other stuff, like but just mixed into all that,
Yeah.
the stream and Destiny like fell apart because my team fell apart.
Okay.
So I was like, oh, I'm gonna put this on hold. I didn't even play Destiny for like a whole year,
Okay.
and I came back and I was like, I didn't stream, and then like for years I was like, well, I've always wanted to play something retro,
Uh-huh.
and I just started hanging out on like retro streams, like people like Retro Gaming 2084, Josh, and Adultery. I think Adultery.
Yeah.
Ouija Wii, like all these people, and like I just found all these people like maybe 5 years ago, and I just would hang out and Punch Out stream, and I would hang out in Castlevania stream, and I would
Yeah.
hang out in Zelda streams, and all these streams, and I just befriended all these people. So I hadn't streamed, like I said, in years, and I knew how to stream. I'd done it,
Yeah.
and I just I picked up this is the irony how all this happened. I picked up a Game and Watch. You ever see the Zelda Game and Watch?
Oh, of course.
So I picked that up when that came out, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna just mess around. I wasn't playing anything at that time. I
Yeah.
wasn't even playing modern nothing. And I was like, I'm just gonna play the Game and Watch and play Zelda 1 and mess around.
Okay.
And I was like, Zelda 1's really hard.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm gonna play Zelda 2 just because it's on there too. So I started playing that. I was like, man, I was like, this is a lot easier than I remember as a kid, because everyone's always like, oh, Zelda 2 is impossible. So I started playing it, and I was beating it without like continuing. And I was like, and I was, I talked to Josh. I was already friends with like a lot of retro people. I was like, should I time this?
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, go ahead, do it. So I timed it, and at that time I was like, yo, I beat it in like 2 hours and whatever. I'm
Right.
like, I'm the man. And like then I look at the board and I'm like, oh, I'm not that good. so I kept grinding away. I mean, I think I told you earlier, we kind of were chatting a little bit, and I said I quit Zelda 2 the very end of the year. I got to,
Of 2022.
yes.
Okay.
And I played it 11 months straight through with like a couple exceptions here and there, and I mean I dedicated time and like a lot of life to it.
Right.
I got to 40th on the board overall.
Okay.
And I mean, anybody below me on that board is a god in that game. I mean,
Okay.
I have a really good competitive time, and I still have a minute in there, which I was like, I'll go back later. And I mean, like I said, I grinded my life into that game. So
Well, Zelda 2 is super popular, and I can only imagine, number 40 on the list. I'm sure that there's probably a couple of hundred people on that list, because I'm sure it's very highly competitive.
I mean, when I was passing guys, like, like at first I was like, oh, I know this guy's name, and I know this guy. And then it was like, oh, I'm passing Arceus. Oh, I'm passing this person. And I was like, okay, I'm kind of into like the good people now. So, and I became friends with a lot of the Zelda 2 people. So like, I knew who was who. Like, I'm friends with the world record holder and number 2. And like, I know all these guys. They're friends now.
Yeah. Muck Police, yes, this is live. We're live.
Yeah,
We're having a conversation. Yeah.
No, he's making a Big Mac joke. That's from my stream.
Oh,
If you ever seen the Big Mac 416 bot, that's
God.
we're friends with him.
You got me. Well,
So after I got to that peak, I was like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm done. I want to do something else. So I've for the last 2 months been playing Zelda 1, and it's really, really hard compared. Zelda 2 is like hard, Zelda 1 is impossible.
So in order to okay, so are you speed running Zelda 1?
yeah.
Okay,
I'm
so in
speedrunning.
order to speed run Zelda 1, do you have to do the first quest and the second quest?
No, you don't have to do second quest, but there's all different categories. But the main category is no up A. So you don't have to like get every single thing in the game. It's getting through as fast as possible. And no up A in Zelda 1 and 2, it basically brings you either back to the beginning of the dungeon
Okay.
or the beginning of the map, like where you start the game. So you can't use that as like a cheat, basically. So
What is
you
up
can't
A?
no up A.
What is no
That's the cat. So you can't if you have a second controller plugged in for Zelda 1 or 2
Okay.
and you hold up and hit A, it'll reset you to the beginning of the dungeon. Or if you're on the overworld, it'll bring you back to the beginning of the game where you start.
I never knew that.
Yep. So that's a lot of categories, like glitch categories, like use that feature. So
What? All
so
these
yeah,
years of playing Zelda, I'm over here thinking I'm a Zelda expert, and I had no idea that you could even do that. That's pretty
I did.
awesome.
Yeah, I did a couple Z2 categories that use that feature, but I like no the one that I run on Zelda 1. It's like you skip a few things, like you don't get boomerang and stuff like that, but for the most part, you need to just get what you need to get and then get through the game, and you can't die. So,
Gotcha.
but getting through Zelda 1 without dying, it's a task.
Got you.
It's hard. I mean, and I'm grinding away at the time right now.
So would you say you would consider yourself like a speed run streamer? Like, is that what you want to focus on overall? Or do you think like because you have this game, like, you know, you're practicing Zelda 1, this is what you're gonna do for now, and then when you're done with it, like you'll move on to like not speed
I
running or doing something else?
I mean, I think like maybe eventually, I don't know if I always want to speed run, and maybe like it depends, but I like I said, I sank 11, 12 months into Zelda 2. I mean,
Yeah.
that's a year of just literally just almost nothing but that game.
So
I
why
mean,
did you stop just because you were like
it
you
was just focus. It was
you
just
just
focus.
okay. All right,
And I was like,
interesting.
and muscle memory and like just, learning stuff. And it was like, speedrun is like a drug because it's like, oh, it, I don't think if you're satisfied with your time, then you're not really speedrunning. So like,
Right.
you can get 2 minutes off your last time and be like, wow, that was an incredible run, but I messed up this, and this, and I know I could do it better. And then
Right.
it's like you're right back at it. So,
Right.
I mean,
Like if only I
like,
didn't do this thing, imagine what time I could have gotten if that
mhm.
thing didn't happen.
And then I mean, as weird as this sounds, like I was doing all these like crazy, excuse me, I was doing all these like crazy things. Like I would make up, like I would look at the bleeder board and be like, oh, this person like doubted me, and I would start making things up in my head. Probably half of them aren't even true. And I was like, I'm gonna get past that person, and this person is like a great runner, like excellent player, and I'm passing them in 6 months. So I'm like, yo, this works. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm crazy, but but it worked. So
You know what I think is interesting? I think your story about how you started off as Destiny and then you eventually evolved into doing retro because would you say that you were happier doing that, especially being that you could, do things on your own terms versus having to play with like people that you didn't really feel like you wanted to play with in Destiny and stuff like that? Like I really like that you were like, I want to focus on something that I'm going to enjoy and that's going to make me happy. So, like, can you explain a little bit more about that shift in changing categories and what that was like for you?
I mean, like I said, I always wanted to do it, and I think a big part of that was because, like you said, like you're not really depending on anybody. So I like the fact that I was like, well, I can just do what I want, and and pick something popular or whatever, and I can get my own crowd. Like I knew how to stream, I knew how to handle a crowd.
Yeah.
Even last night, like I was streaming late last or this morning when I got home from work. Grayskull rated me with like 200 people. Like that doesn't phase me. Some people get all like crazy, and I'm like, Hey, what's up, Grace Cole? Welcome to the stream.
Yeah.
Like
So you're
that's
more
how.
like I like to have the chill, laid back approach, like instead of being like, like the hype and like, oh my gosh, I can't
I mean,
believe this kind of thing.
I do get hype, but it
Yeah.
depends, I guess. I mean,
Yeah.
especially I took a lot of that like from when I was playing Destiny. Like I said, there's a streamer called Glad. He's a big Destiny guy,
Yeah.
and he's rated me with like 2,000 people back then.
Yeah.
So like when you get a raid like that, you're like,
What do you
a
do?
200 person raid compared to that, it's like, oh, I can handle this. You know what I mean? And I think retro is more. If you get a couple hundred people in retro, I mean that's a big raid.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Retro is definitely like a more. It's like the mom and pop store of channels. You know what I mean? It's not Modern Warfare. It's not a game like that. But I think going back to your question, I think I enjoyed it, but I never found my spot to fall in, and that Game and Watch like just literally just happened on accident.
It
And I was like,
inspired you.
it did, and I always liked Zelda 1. Like I mean,
Yeah.
I like Zelda 1 better than Zelda 2. The reason I played Zelda 2 was because when I got the Game and Watch, I was like, Zelda 1 is killing me right now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
Zelda 2 I knew was hard, but I don't know, for whatever reason it just happened naturally.
So would you say that that's like your favorite Zelda? Which out of all the Zeldas, which is your favorite?
Now that I'm a really good Zelda 2 runner, I mean, it's hard to say. I think they were always kind of evenish, but maybe Z1 used to edge it out a little bit, and now it's like pretty even, I would say.
Got you.
They're right on the same plane. So
would you ever do Link to the Past?
Okay, so here's my thing with Link to the Past.
Okay, tell me.
It's a masterpiece of a game. I had it as a kid, and I just started disliking it because it was a Me Too game for everybody. It was like everybody, like people that didn't even play video games would be like, "Oh, Link to the Past is my favorite game." And it's like, you don't even play games. Like, what are you talking about? Oh, I played it when I was 9, and I'm like, okay. So Link to the Past had so much popularity, and like I think it still kind of does, and it's like it just got like drowned out. Like I'm always the guy that's like, I want to listen to the weird song on the tape and not like the song that's on the radio 100 times. You know what I mean?
So it's like too mainstream for you.
Like,
you like the indie.
Yeah, exactly.
Got
I'm the B-side.
you.
I'm the B-side guy. Give me the weird, like, so.
All right, I got
but
you.
But I don't dislike it, and I think I will visit it at some point one day. I think like down the road, maybe next year or later.
Okay.
It'll eventually probably just naturally happen. But
so then Super Mario on NES is right out. That's right
out.
Oh
no. I mean, I honestly, I would probably play a Super Mario game. Well, maybe, I don't know.
You'd probably would you? Okay, so would you do Super Mario Lost Levels over Super Mario?
Well, I'll tell you this, and this is very. I just started playing Zelda, so who knows how long this grind will even take. But
right.
The next game, if I had a gun to my head right now, pick a game right now.
Yeah.
It would probably be learn Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which is another just impossible
on NES.
Game. Yeah, on NES.
Gotcha.
And I never beat that game, so I always pick like impossible speeds, like as a kid, I just always liked like hard games. I think Master System kind of did part of that because those games were hard.
Yeah.
Some of them were hard. But I mean, like,
Yeah, I would say like out of the games that I've played, Psycho Fox, when I played that most recently, that game is not necessarily hard, but it's hard to play a game, entertain, read chat, and do a bunch of things at once. Like if I was just like figuring out the game, I'd be like, okay, I could play this.
I'll give you two Master System games off the top of my head that will kill you.
Okay.
And you don't even have to be on stream. Play it off stream.
Okay.
So get back to me and tell me what you think.
All right.
My Hero.
Okay.
And the Ninja. Play those two games. I mean, I was playing these as an 8-year-old, 7-year-old. So I mean, when you play them now, you're like, how did I play these games?
Right.
I don't even know how far I got in My Hero, but I beat the Ninja, and that game's like impossible.
Okay, I'm gonna try those out, and I'm gonna get back to you.
Yeah, I want to know when you see those games, you're gonna be like, what is this?
Okay, I have a question for you. What is the toughest thing about speed running or getting into speed running?
Time, probably. I mean, no pun intended, but I mean, it's a lot of time. I mean, it's work. You have to, I'm a good networker. I mean, we became friends just from networking. So I can talk to people. Even Zelda 1, I became friends with like Green Mario, name drop. He's number 2 on the board, and like me and him became pretty good friends lately.
Yeah.
And I knew him before that, but I think even got a little tighter since I've been playing. And
Yeah.
like other guys too, a lot of Z1 runners. And they're all helpful. Like all the Z1 and Z2 guys have been like nothing but helpful, and even like like dude is like the number 1 guy in Zelda 2. He runs like that whole board. He's just a maniac.
Yeah.
And like if you ask him a question at like 12 at night, he'll answer you in like 5 minutes. And like other guys like Riak and Lordo, like they're all top runners, and like these are like the top couple guys. They'll all answer you nothing but nice dudes. I mean, so there's a couple jerks too. I think there's a couple jerks, it's like real life. There's always gonna be a few bad apples mixed in, but I would say like my experiences with like 99.8% of people on the board, like learning and speedrunning, have been cool. And it's just time. I mean, you have to literally learn the run, which takes a long time. You have to learn the game, get good at the game,
Yeah.
get good at going fast at the game. And then it's like, all right, well, now you're running at a good pace. So now it's like, learn all the tricks to the game. Like in Zelda 1, there's a trick called scrolling.
Mhm.
So you can scroll through the right side of the screen to the left side, and it saves time. Like you have to see it. I mean, it's hard for me to explain it, but you can scroll through like walls and stuff like that, and
Interesting.
it's like frame perfect stuff. And I mean, it takes a lot of work to like.
So
sit
learning
there and
like
do
all
it.
the glitches, learning like all the strategies, like doing the repetition of your like learning the muscle memory, like all
Mhm.
that stuff, you would say.
It just takes time. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's the hardest part. I mean, and I have, I'm not like this giant streamer or anything. I have a nice set of people that have been riding with me for the last year. We're always getting new people. New people come and go, but a lot of people have been supportive. They watch me play all through Z2.
Yeah.
A lot of those people are still hanging around watching me play Z1 now. So, I have a good support system on my stream. I love my
I
chat.
love it. I love it. That's really important. That's I think like, cultivating that community and having that great space for people to feel comfortable in is super important. So
I
I'm glad that you have that.
I think that's a huge difference too from somebody. I mean, I don't think a lot of people have that experience where they played something modern and had a really, decent like. I think when I stopped streaming Destiny, I was averaging like 60 people or something like that, which is, almost partner numbers you're talking. And like now my average is like 15 or 20, I mean, retro is just, it's not apples and oranges to a modern game. It's a very small, older, a lot more adult type crowd. You know what I mean?
It is
But
definitely a different demographic. I do
but
agree.
but it's a lot less BS also. So it's a lot of people just getting along and not arguing, and you're always gonna get some jerky stuff happening, and haters, but for the most part, everyone's kind of like laid back and older and cool. So I appreciate that.
Yeah,
aspect.
I would say I mean, the only time I've ever really had issues is like when people come and try to backseat or whatever.
Mhm.
But that's like, even that is pretty rare for me.
Mhm.
But mostly it's like, like you're right. Like it's like people who, you know what it is? It's people who want to look for that game. They want to look for it. You know what I'm saying? It's not like, oh, I'm just like I mean, there's people out there who would just like randomly like be like, oh, I can't believe I've never seen this game before. But I feel like most of the time with retro, it's like I'm going in the retro category with purpose because I want to see these games and chill in a channel where it's gonna be relaxed. I feel like that's it.
When I first started back up, I was streaming a lot I kind of tend to do it even now, but like I'll stream in like the Zelda category,
Yeah.
So it's like if I play Zelda 2, I would stream under Zelda 2. If I stream Zelda 1, I'll stream under Zelda 1. But sometimes I think I wouldn't say big enough, but I got to the point where I had enough of followers and just regulars where I could put it into retro and like people will find me that way. So
Yeah.
I definitely like switch it up between the two, but I don't know. I mean, I just switch between the two to be honest. So
I got a question for you. Would you ever consider submitting a run to GDQ?
I mean, not that I'd be scared to or anything, but I just think there's a lot better people to display something as big as GDQ.
But you never know. You never
I
know.
mean, yeah, I mean, and it's and like like Ice Blue, who I'm pretty good friends with right now. He just did a GDQ run. I forget the person he was running with. They were doing a race for. It's called Zelda BS, and it's a super rare Zelda game most people don't even know about.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It was on.
Wasn't it like a download only
Yeah,
Famicom? Yeah.
exactly. It was like the Stella View, like
Yeah.
satellite. Like
Yeah.
it's like a really weird title.
Yeah.
They were like number 3 of the GDQ thing that just happened. So I mean,
Nice.
it just goes to show you, like, even like a weird game like that was like hitting that hard. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Probably because people saw Zelda and they didn't, they'd never seen that before.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's actually kind of like Zelda 1, but
Yeah.
it's like, it looks like Super Nintendo. Well, you kind of sounded like you knew about it a little bit.
Yeah, I've heard of it before. Definitely. I've never
Yeah.
played. Excuse me. I've never played it, but I definitely know of it.
Think of like a weird hybrid of Zelda 1 and Link to the Past. Like
Okay.
it's like Zelda 1, like how it is. It's kind of like that. And it looks kind of like Link to the Past, but you're playing as Zelda. Like you're not playing as Link.
Oh, you're
So,
playing as like Princess
you're
Zelda?
Yes.
What? That's all right. Now I want to play it. That's awesome.
Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure you're playing as Zelda in that game.
Got you. Okay, okay.
So yeah, I mean, I think if I got to the point where I was that good at a particular game, I mean, I wouldn't, it's like I said, it's not that I'm scared or whatever. Even in front of people, I wouldn't mind. Like, I'm not shy, obviously, but I just think, like like even Zelda 2, I'm like number 40 guy. I will, I would rather see the number 1 guy that I know is gonna be like not make any mistake, like stuff like that. But
sometimes it's
know.
fun to see the, like the underdog or something, like it's sometimes it's fun, But
Sure.
all right, okay, well, oh man, I had a question for you. Oh, speaking of events, right? Because there was an event that's happening this weekend that you wanted to talk about. Let's talk about it.
Yes, let's talk about it. So,
So
okay,
it's the
I'm
Children's
actually,
Hospital charity, right? You were saying?
yeah, it's called Striking Out Cancer, and it's going to be January 27th through the 29th, all this weekend, and that's going to be on twitch.tv junkyard_Dave. Anybody that's familiar with
Okay.
him in the retro community.
I'm just getting the link.
I'll send you the information. Maybe you can put it somewhere. And the marathon is going to start at 10 a.m. on the 27th at Mountain Time, because they're in Canada. So I think that's like 2 hours. I think that's like 12 Eastern or something like that. I'm not sure what MST is compared to us. I think it's 2 hours off.
Okay, cool.
And that's going to end. It's going to end each day at 11 p.m. MST. All donations from the marathon will benefit the Stollery Children's Hospital in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada.
Okay.
And the Stollery is a full-service pediatric hospital providing complex surgeries and advanced care to sick kids since 2001.
And you're going to be a part of this event.
I am. I'm going to do a Zelda 2 run. When I first met Dave, I was playing Zelda 2 still, so this is like my last hurrah with Zelda 2 for a while. So
Okay, I love it. Okay, that's awesome. I mean, it's always great, and I think super important to do charity work on Twitch. So the fact that you all are doing this, especially for a children's hospital who I'm sure is like very deeply in need, it's always really good to see. And I am always blown away by the power of charity on Twitch. Like, people always knock it out the park. So I'm so glad that you're a part of this event, and I can't wait to check it out and see what's going on. That's really cool.
Yeah, I would like to personally do like one eventually my own and like put together a thing, but uh Dave and me just he came in my chat one day, we kind of hit it off, started talking a little bit on Twitter, and like right when he posted, he was like, I'm gonna do this charity thing. I was like, yo, I'm down. And like
Okay.
we had just met. This is a couple months ago, and like he's like, no one's ever done a Zelda run. He's like, yeah, absolutely. And like we just so that's it.
That's awesome. Hi, Grom. Welcome. I love it. I love it. Okay, maybe after this, because I think Dave is live. Maybe after we're done with our interview, we can go and raid Junkyard Dave. All
Cool.
right. That sounds good. Okay, cool. So you know what? It was so funny. I just picked up on the way you said a few words there, like very much, because people always talk about me and my New York accent, and I definitely heard some of the words that you just said there, and I was like, wait a minute, that's probably what people are picking up on when I am talking exactly in the chat.
I mean,
Yo,
people always tell me I have an accent too. So I mean,
yeah, I just think that that was super funny. Like, I was like, oh, wait, now I hear it. Especially, living down here in the South now, like,
mhm.
I could definitely tell when I meet a New York transplant that lives down here.
And there's a lot of them in Georgia. I mean, a lot of people move down there. So I mean,
I was so surprised though. Like seriously, like driving down the street, I'll be like, New York license plate, New York license plate. Okay, okay, okay. Seeing the Yankee fitteds, I'm like, all right, okay. Georgia's kind of lit now.
yeah. Even one of my good friends, he moved. He had some stuff where he had to come back, but he's like from my like he actually lives a couple blocks away now, but he moved down to right outside of Atlanta somewhere. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
and then
yeah.
he's like, I love it here. And then something with his mother-in-law or son happened. He had to come back, but he
I
loved it down there.
I will say that I do like the weather. The
Mm.
weather is really like I could go outside. I don't need a jacket. I don't need nothing. I could probably go out with shorts, like if it's during the day or whatever. Like I don't need any of that. I don't
But
miss the snow.
don't you miss like fall?
There is fall. We do have fall. The leaves do change. We do
Okay.
have that. And what's really awesome is the mountains. I didn't realize how mountainous Georgia was. But what I do miss, and I find it rarely though. I do find it is obviously like the food that was prevalent in New York. Like the other day I ordered Chinese food and they didn't put no broccoli in my General
Oh
Tso
yeah.
chicken.
You were
And
telling me that.
that's very offensive to me, you know?
See, I don't think, but I think even General Tso's by me, like they don't even put broccoli. Maybe they do. I don't get General Tso's. So I mean,
Really interesting. Maybe
I think
it
that's
just
just.
depends on the restaurant.
I think it might just be a restaurant. I told you that the other day, but I mean, but I think a lot of other things like pizza is definitely not as good there. I don't care what you
Yeah,
say.
nah, nah,
And
nah.
like, and I'm
After
sure
these
there's a lot of
messages,
transplants there, so I'm sure
we'll
it's
be
better
right
probably
back.
now.
Yeah.
But I mean, especially like I have a lot of friends in California, and they're from Buffalo, so they're like, oh, the bread is terrible, pizza is terrible, this thing's terrible, and like it's just not the same. Granted, they're in California, you're a little closer, but um, like you can't go to the Jamaican spot there. Probably it's probably not the same. You know what I mean?
Okay, so all right. Let's talk about that real quick because there actually is a Jamaican restaurant, right? That is run by people from the Bronx.
Okay.
And when I found them, I was like, all right, all right. First thing we're gonna have is stew chicken. That's gotta be like that's like the basic. If you can't get that, because I can't trust you with oxtail right off the jump. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? I can't.
Mhm.
I can't. But stew chicken, rice and peas, the cabbage. All right, let me see what you got. Let me tell you something. They did it. They did it up because I was sopping up the gravy with the cocoa bread I got, and it was good. Like it was seasoned. The meat was flying off the bone. Like everything was good.
Okay.
So
Let me say something in regards to that.
okay.
So I think you could find something like that, or like Spanish food, or like something that is like it can be kind of made anywhere. You just have to get the right person to cook it. So
Right.
I agree with you, and
And
I don't
now
doubt that
back
at
to
all.
our show.
But the water in the pizza and the bread here, and like bagels, you ain't getting bagels down there. I don't
Now, that is 100% true. I will say because there's restaurants like pizza restaurants that claim New York style pizza because they're talking about like thin crust pizza versus like a thicker crust or whatever.
Sure.
But you're right. It has been proven that New York City has a certain kind of water. I believe their water is a little bit softer or like certain mineral combination that fluffs the dough in a certain way or gives the dough a certain kind of chewiness that you cannot attain outside of New York because the water supply just does not have that combination of minerals or softness or however you call it. And there are some people out there who will go as far as to import New York City water to do this.
Yeah, I remember a couple years ago before COVID kicked off, I was down in Florida and I went to some place called like Brooklyn Bagels or something like that. It was like the worst bagel I've ever had in my life. Like I ate half of it and threw the other half away, and I was like, this shouldn't even be allowed. They should just cross the name Brooklyn out. Like they shouldn't even be able to put that on the sign. It was terrible though.
Oh, nah, yeah. See, I can't rock with that. Like, if your bagel is like, hard or doesn't have the right texture, like, we can't rock with that.
It was
I don't
bad.
even try.
And pizza too. It's like I know better to order pizza somewhere. Chinese food, like you said. I mean, I think Chinese food is just better here.
Yeah.
Like for whatever reason, it's just better here.
You know what's funny? I was flying. Where was I flying to? I can't remember where I was going. I was going someplace and I was checking my bags. And the guy was like, oh, it was New York, obviously, duh. The guy, when I was checking my bag, he was like, oh, you going to New York? I was like, yeah, I'm originally from there. I'm just going up for the holidays, whatever, to see family. And he was like, yeah, man, I'm from New York too. And the thing I miss the most is the Chinese food. I was like, don't even get me started. Don't even get me started. And I was like, all right, my flight's soon. But man, I feel you. I feel you right here.
But the South, like, don't get me wrong, the South, the West, like, everybody has something. Like,
yeah.
I think New York is like a really like weird place in a sense because it's such a melting pot.
Yeah.
And it's like you have all these cultures and like you can get Korean food, you can get Haitian food, you can get Chinese food, you can get anything and it's all good. Like you're always gonna find like a good place to eat. But like down south like has stuff like I think this is kind of always a down south exception here. And you could probably find a good place up here somewhere.
But it's gonna be harder.
I have a place, but like I was gonna say, like barbecue.
Yeah.
Like barbecue is a very like down south thing,
Yeah,
like,
I'm gonna. You know what it is? I think like down here, there's this place that I went to where the restaurant is in a house, like it's in like a house.
And it's probably dope, and it's probably like the dopest barbecue.
Oh my God. The food just blew my mind. How delicious. They had like this fried like shrimp, fried fish. They had like all this like the greens. Yo, don't even get me started on the greens. And like country fried steak and like all that kind of stuff. That's the stuff you'll find down here that's like gold,
I always say that too. Like, I mean, this is kind of off topic, but like I was a Yelp. I didn't even realize I've been on Yelp over 10 years writing reviews.
Yeah.
And like I just saw it the other day because we were talking about it in my chat.
Yeah.
And I was like, I always say like the place that looks like, there'll be like a shootout and it looks like half run down. That's the place where you're going to get like the best food. And, but for real. And like going back to the Jamaica spot thing, like if the Jamaica spot, if the Jamaican spot, the person's not mad at the counter and they're not out of like almost everything, then that Jamaican spot is not good. That's the real Jamaican spots.
I will tell you straight up. Yeah.
It's like, yo, you got cocoa bread? Nah.
No. You the worst
patty?
offenders,
Nah.
you got barbecue chicken? Never had barbecue chicken. What's up?
I ordered the day I ordered beef patties. They didn't even send me my grape soda. Like they ain't like it's like that's the Jamaican spot. You
Yeah,
expect that from them.
yeah. Man, yo, but the food be slapping though. But yeah,
Yeah.
I hear you. I hear you on that. Can you
Jerk
believe it's
chicken.
almost been an hour already? I can't believe it.
I mean, I told you we could both of us talk. So
Oh man, oh man. Okay. Is there anything that you want to share about maybe your experience on Twitch as a broadcaster that like if anybody wanted to get into Twitch that you would share as like learning points from your perspective? Like anybody who's like never been a speedrunner or never like streamed on Twitch, anything that you might have learned that you would share with somebody?
I think if I had to share one thing, I think my best advice will be yourself. And I think we kind of had a conversation about being yourself. And like, I'm the complete opposite of you. I'm Eddie Murphy, 1984, cursing crazy, telling old stories of stuff that I did in my life. We're complete opposite, Ash, me and you. At least on the camera,
Yeah.
and I think like one is be yourself, and two is like pick one thing. Like don't it's like when you go to the arcade. It's like pick one game you know you're going to be good at. If you're good at Mortal Kombat, then play Mortal Kombat so you don't lose your dollar and quarters that you have in 5 seconds on some machine you never played before. Like, I got good at Zelda. I just played Zelda a lot. I would sway off here and there, and like even Destiny. Like I was helping a lot of people back then, like do Destiny stuff.
Yeah.
So it's like I always tried to pick one thing and stay on that one thing.
Mhm.
You want to have a goal for later on. I mean, I probably play Zelda for the next year or two. I mean,
Yeah.
that game's hard, but I think I already have it in the back of my head. It's like, oh, I want to learn turtles, and I'm friends with Skunky, and he's the world record holder, and I know a lot of that. Even that leaderboard, just people I'm friends with, like Elfo and Stormy, like these guys are really good turtle runners, and like I know I can learn stuff off of them.
Yeah.
So I think it's like have a goal in the back of your head for later, but like really burn out and like do one thing and get good at one thing until at least you have a following.
Mhm.
Because I see a lot of people are like people in my job, they're like, oh, no one comes to my chat or whatever, and it's like, well, you know you because you find a few people and they like what you're doing, and you don't switch games the next day, you know what I mean? Where somebody like you has a following, it's different. You can play Psycho Fox and then Amiga the next day, but you grew that following already. So even me, like if I played Faxanadu today, which is a whole nother story on my channel, but if I played Faxanadu today, I'd get 30 or 40 people come hang out,
Yeah.
so
Wait, what's the
I think.
story with Faxanadu?
All right, so Faxanadu was a redemption that I had, and we hit a sub goal, in like November, and I
Yeah.
was like, I'm gonna play through all of Faxanadu, and I'm gonna use a guide and get through the whole game. I hate that game. I hate it.
You do?
I hate it. Everyone loves Faxanadu. I hate Faxanadu. So like my stream has given me just grief over this since like November.
Uh-huh.
So it was funny. Grom said the other day, he's like, you should do on tax day and call it tax Xanadu. because like you owe it to everybody for this long. So we'll see though. I will eventually like honor it and like a few other games I still have to play, but that's even that like becomes hard though. Like when that happened, I was in a really good Zelda 2 groove, and I was getting like that's when I was like really digging in and getting like crazy times.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's hard to just say, "Oh, I'm not gonna play Zelda for like a week and play Faxanadu."
Right,
So
right, right.
it's hard, but I'll find the time to do it.
So do you think, okay, do you think in like speed running specifically, like that portion of retro, if somebody is focused on a game, like let's say Batman 1 on NES or Zelda or whatever, if
Mhm.
they switch games, that drastically affects viewership? Do you think that that affects viewership?
I think it depends on the person. I mean, like I said, when I made the transition from Zelda 2 to Zelda 1, I definitely noticed some people I used to come only for Zelda 2, not there for Zelda 1, and I noticed new people from Zelda 1 that don't watch Zelda
The
2.
two.
So I
Interesting.
think for me anyway, it's been kind of like a good balance because I'm getting more new people, and then I'll get like some of the people I used to hang out for Zelda 2 like will pop in more. But I mean, you definitely notice. I mean, and it's just people want to watch what they want to watch,
Yeah, of
So
course. Yeah, we don't have
and
ownership over people. They're people.
no,
Like they can do whatever they want. Of course.
and
Yeah.
I think like I said, even for you, like if you played Zillion tonight and then you played something on Amiga tomorrow, like you're definitely gonna get a not the all the same crowd. You know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah. I could
So
definitely tell you straight up and down when I play Final Fantasy VI, I definitely get a different crowd than when I play Star Trek Online. You know what I'm
mhm.
saying? There's some people who they love talking to me about Star Trek and that's what they really love is Star Trek and that's cool, you know?
Yep,
But there's definitely people who show up for anything and then there's definitely people who depending on the game like if I turned on Link to the Past, they're going to be like, "Oh, I need to go for Link to the Past." If I turned on Super Mario 3, they're going to come for Super
sure.
Mario 3. It's just
Well,
what it is.
here's another weird thing too. I gotta say, and it's like weird too because Link to the Past isn't even like really built into it, but Zelda 1 and 2 community is very like meshed together.
Yeah.
So it's like I would know, like I said, I met a lot of even like Zelda 1 guys before I even played Zelda 1. And and there's, like I said, then there's people I've met now getting into that game. And, so it's like a lot of those communities like mesh together. Zelda 3 has nothing to do with Z1 and Z2 people, though. It's like weird. They're like their own thing. You know what I mean? And like Ocarina of Time, I'm sure, is their own thing. So it's
Yeah.
like, but Zelda 1 and 2, maybe it's just because it's NES or whatever. But I think a lot of those people have the same nostalgia, even if
Yeah.
they don't like or play that game. So,
Yeah.
but we gotta get you on Zillion. I
Oh,
know
yeah, yeah, yeah.
we have to get you on that, and that would be fun to watch you
Yeah.
play that.
Would you ever do randos?
I tried Z2 Rando. I wasn't really into it that much, but it was more I was speed running at that time, and I think it's like a lot of people that like it usually don't like playing vanilla
Yeah.
speed run
Yeah.
and then doing rando. Some people like both. I think Zelda 1 rando I would like more, but I haven't tried it yet.
Gotcha.
It just looks like something I might enjoy more.
Mhm.
But Zelda 2 rando, like I didn't dislike it. It was just like it was a lot. It was almost like trying to figure out something completely new, and I was like, I don't have time for this,
Gotcha.
So I messed around with a few seeds and stuff, and I was just like, this is cool, but not right now.
Would you consider yourself a very technical or analytical person when it comes to streaming and stuff?
I definitely think so. Even for like a small stream, I was cursing you out that one day because I couldn't find the analytics for emote use, and like
Yeah.
I look at all that stuff, and I think a lot of people don't look at that stuff, and that's probably like my 20 years of like networking and business background. Just like it's like you have tools right in front of you, and they're
Yeah.
free.
What do
So
you
it's like
extrapolate from that data? Because I'm a person that finds it very difficult to like figure out well what am I seeing in this data? Like the numbers
okay,
just looks like the matrix to me. So what are you
so
extrapolating?
I look at like who's using what emotes. Like I'm just gonna give you an emote example.
Okay.
So like now I've switched from Zelda 2 to Zelda 1, and I'm like, some of these emotes are whatever anyway. So I kind of want to freshen some up and bring like some new Zelda 1 stuff in. So me and Grom have been working on some stuff together, and he's been making me a few emotes, and I'm looking at the analytics of it. And I'm like, oh, okay, this emote is performing this way. No one's really using it. I'm not using it, so I'll dump that emote and then insert something else.
Hmm.
And I look at that. I honestly look at it a lot for that because I really do try and like give back to my stream. So like, I mean, I have a career, off of Twitch, and the money I make here, I like will try and put back into, back in, or my kid goes to Catholic school, so like tuition and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So that's kind of like where that money like goes back to. But I do, like I said, I do definitely look at the analytics. And when I was on disability last year, I was streaming a lot more,
Yeah.
and I was looking at analytics like crazy, like viewership times and
What's the most important analytic to you that determines the health of a stream?
Mm. I look at it all as I look at it like overall. So I mean, I
Okay.
really, like I said, I even that emote one, it's like such a weird one, and I don't think, yeah, like I got mad because I thought they took. I was like telling you that day, I was like, why would they move it? Why would they take this away? And it was
Right.
just in a different place or whatever. But I really do look at like all the analytics, like the financial part, the viewership part,
Yeah.
where I'm at as far as partner, like getting, the 75, views, which I'm nowhere near. Um, but I
Do you think enough people talk numbers on Twitch, or do you think it's like, oh, most people find it taboo and they don't want to talk about that?
I was just gonna say, I think it's like taboo. I think some people like don't mind it, and then, a person like I'm friends with Skunky, and he's like, don't look at the numbers or don't talk about the numbers,
Yeah.
like you know what I mean. So like I came home from work at 7 in the morning. I got that big Grayskull raid, and I started talking about numbers, and I was playing kind of like really tired and bad this morning. And I was like, oh, there goes 10 viewers, and like I was kind of like making a joke about it, but that's just me being sarcastic or whatever. But
Gotcha.
I tend I tend to like talk about numbers, and like it just kind of just happens, and I probably shouldn't do it, but I think not enough people do sometimes too,
But maybe
like
people could talk about it in a way that frames the issue in something positive. Like, okay, like a lot of people will be like, oh, my numbers dropped, I'm doing something bad. But what if instead of focusing on that aspect, it was like, well, my numbers are at this level. How did I get it to that level in the first place? How did I get it that
right.
high? How did I achieve from 0 to this? You know?
Yep. hmm Yeah, I think peak Z2 numbers were doing good, and I think one that's another thing too. Getting back to what you asked me before about new streamers and like advice, I think consistency is the hugest detail of everything. And I think it's like if you have one viewer, if you have 50, if you have 1,000, no matter what it is, if you're not consistent, those people will leave you. And it's like nothing against you, but people want to hang out in a place and like be familiar and talk to the same people. And I know your chat has that because I hang out in your chat. My chat has that. A lot of chats have that. It's like cheers. Everybody knows your name. You know what I mean? So it's like you can come and talk about your bad day at work, or you can come talk about your kid fell off his bike or whatever, So I think I think just having that on a regular basis, I know like sometimes every day is like hard, but I mean, if you go from streaming 6 days a week to like one or like once every couple of weeks or months, you're gonna lose your viewership. I mean, I know for a fact because it's happened,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
Wow. Okay. So consistency, sticking to one thing. I think that those are really great pieces of advice. And I really love that you shared about this event that's happening for the charity. And I'm so grateful. We have been talking for an hour. And I just want to say thank you for your time.
no,
You
thank
know,
you.
everybody make sure to go and follow MoneyMerks. We're going to call it here, chat. Any last parting words you want to share? Um,
Ash, it's been real. Everybody, thank you for hanging out.
yeah.
I'm glad everybody got to hang out. Yes, story
Yeah.
time cop. I'm just glad everybody, like I said, got to hang out, and I came to talk about the charity and kind of just schmooze with you. So
Yeah,
here
that
we
was
are
fun.
talking about beef patties to
Oh
you
my
know
gosh. Okay, beef patty, chicken patty, or veggie patty?
oh, beef patty all day.
Okay, okay. I mean, sometimes I feel like a veggie patty sometimes, but most of the time a beef patty.
Look at me. I'm not that healthy. I ain't taking a veggie patty.
Well,
Nope.
thank you for spending the evening with us. Thank you for a wonderful conversation. Thank you, Track Zero, for those kind words. Thank you, everybody, for
Yo,
being
thank you, Track Zero.
here. Huh?
I said thank you, Track Zero.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Thank you. Okay, and let's see. I really want to read your friend that you mentioned, Junkyard Dave. So let's go and hang out over there. And
Cool.
once again, everybody go and follow the link that I posted in the chat for Money Mercs, and go and hang out while Money Mercs goes and crushes the Zelda 1 You know, we're going to see you on that leaderboard. We're going to see you high up there. All right? Keep doing
I'm
your
getting
thing.
there.
All
I'm
right.
getting there.
And yeah, we'll see. I'll see you all tomorrow. Take care, everybody. We're going to go raid Junkyard Dave, who's currently playing. I don't know what game this is. Let me take a look.
He is playing.
It's a
Bucky
video
O'Hare.
game. Is it Bucky O'Hare?
It's Bucky O'Hare. Yep.
Okay, sweet. All
and
right.
that's what I think he runs that a lot too. So that's his thing.
Nice. All right, everybody. I'll see you all next time. Take care. Bye-bye.
Take it easy. Bye.